Well, it would mean everything because it's the next cup final, and to have the opportunity to play in one and do what we've done to get there is huge. But now that you're in a final, finals are about winning, and to win it would be huge. It would be huge for this group of players. It would be huge for our supporters.
So the season so far, Jim, how have you found things have been going so far this season?
Like a lot of my school reports, could do better. And inconsistent. Games we played really well in, we've dominated the games and managed to win the games. And games we played poorly in, we've been punished. And I think that's a credit to the managers and the clubs that weren't in the top 6 last year, who've all recruited really excellently. And on any given Saturday, it's proven, other than Linfield, that any one team is capable of beating the other.
And this now being your second year at the club, does it feel different than your first year completely?
It feels different, yes, because lots have gone on this year that were slightly out of our control. And last year was all new, albeit I had a very experienced staff. But it was all new to me. This year's been more of a learning curve, and hopefully I've learned a great deal, and hopefully I can use that then, especially for this run-in, and hopefully for a few more years to come.
So Solitude,
yeah.
What has this place meant to you in the first period that you've actually been at the club?
Love it. I absolutely love it. I love coming here. I love coming here training nights. I love being here on match nights. Match nights obviously are different. There's an electricity about the place that I really buy into. Obviously, the bigger games, without being disrespectful to any club we play, but when Linfield come to town and Glentoran come to town and Crusaders come to town, you can feel it in the air. There's an expectancy and an expectation, but also it's a big game feel.
And Solitude itself, has it been somewhere even before you were manager? Did you come here maybe when you were growing up, or maybe came to watch games in the past? Was it somewhere you'd come to before?
I've been here with 2 Premier League clubs, and I won't tell a lie, I came with one, the Southampton pre-season game, and then I brought Ipswich here as when I was manager. So I'd always had that connection with the club. I've always admired the players that have played for the club, but you never get a feel for a club until you're in it. And what I have felt is that the passion generated by supporters, it is such a passionate place for the supporters. I've been lucky to play at clubs where it was exactly the same. Ipswich was the same, Southampton was the same, Liverpool was the same, Sheffield Wednesday was the same. So there is a real feel about the club generated by supporters. Yes.
This is Ryan Corrigan.
Yeah.
A couple of reasons for this photo. So talking about the early rounds in the Bet McLean Cup, win away to Limavady, and then a win against Bangor, Ryan Corrigan scoring the winning goal.
Yeah.
First of all, just tell us about the early rounds in the League Cup and any particular memories from those early rounds.
All tough, all really tough. If you look at Limavady away, who are going great guns, Paul Holmes done a great job with them, lots of exciting young players in their team. It was always going to be a tough tie, always one that was a potential banana skin because of their quality. But again, their challenges. If you look at the Irish Cup run last year, there were massive challenges in that. So it was one that we were really prepared for, went into great detail, and managed to get through it. Bangor away, another massive game. Lee Feeney's done an incredible job there, scoring lots of goals. They were on the crest of a wave. We knew it was going to be another difficult place to go. Again, a lot of homework was spent on recognising the strengths and weaknesses of Bangor, and we managed to get through that one too. So the Ryan Corrigans and the worst of this world are the lifeblood of the club. They're outstanding young players. We've got a few of them that we have great hopes for. we hope that we can develop them into top class players. We know that they're top class individuals. It's just about, can we get enough game time? Can they get enough game time? And then when they get the opportunities, can they take them?
And how important is it for you to have that academy led by Mark Smith to sort of dip into, that these younger players are coming through and sort of providing you in the first time with real talent?
Well, it's a massive part of any football club, and you have to use them. We have to see how good they are. Mark has always been very honest in his appraisals of the young players, and not one of them have ever disappointed. We're very lucky we have a core group that come up and train with us every night we're training, and the huge benefits that gives them that we've seen on a daily, weekly, monthly, and ultimately yearly opportunities for them has brought them on no ends. And we're great believers in giving these players an insight into what the leagues are all about. You know, we've got young Keevy and Hawthorne at Ballyclare, we've got Joe Sheridan now out at Queen's. Having relationships with clubs is really important for us because we want to see them develop, and ultimately we want to see them play for Cliftonville.
And Cliftonville having sort of the full-time academy set up at that age, it must be great now for kids in Northern Ireland to have these opportunities to be in full-time football.
Yeah, it really is, and we will see the benefits of that down the line. There are clubs that have done really well developing young players. Again, it's to the credit of the managers. You know, for example, Gary Hamilton said, you know, probably the ball rolling in terms of giving young players opportunities. David Healy has picked up that baton and gone on. You know, we're all very aware that there is talented young players, but it's having the courage to go and play them, and that's important. Perfect.
So, taking a step back, the Irish Cup final last year, just Ronan Hales winning goal, what were you actually doing when that went into the net at that very moment?
Closing my eyes, and I think it was a real, please don't trip, please don't fall over, not only for our sake but your own sake, because up to that point he was going down with cramp, and he was cramping quite badly. So to raise your hands in triumph before the balls hit the net, takes a lot of courage. So eventually when the ball did hit the net, it was one of those iconic moments that you're never going to forget. When you think about that final, you think about that goal. You also think about how good a final it was and how competitive Linfield and how good Linfield were in the final, pressing to the last seconds of the game, trying to force an equaliser. And ultimately for staff, it's relief. It's pure relief that, okay, there was a lot of hype around it. There was 45 years of waiting. But we could have won back-to-back cup finals. It's for a group of people who are working diligently 24 hours a day to try and get a result. It's pure relief. And then it's the ecstasy of having actually won it.
And winning it and having that moment of winning it with a packed stadium, it just must have been amazing to see how far this league has come and how far it can potentially go in the future as well. Yeah,
and it would have been interesting had more tickets been available, and had we got, I would suspect that there would have been an even bigger crowd. So to have a packed stadium like that, I managed to play in a playoff final at Wembley, and it was Barnsley and Ipswich, and it was red and blue. And to see that, the contrast of red and blue on the day it's very eye-catching. So to have that moment and to be going through that and be a part of that it's always going to always hold a very sentimental part of your football life, and the league can only benefit from games like that. Obviously, we're going to talk about the League Cup final and another sellout. And if you look what's happening in the League of Ireland, for example, yesterday or Sunday with Shamrock Rovers and Bohemians selling out 30-odd thousand. You know, growing the league is really important, and the more adverts for the league that we can provide and the quality that we can provide can only enhance the league.
So the Ben McLean Cup semi-final, right to the very death, what a night. Just give us a run through of what that game was like and what a moment for destiny to get that winner.
And what a name for it. It was because we played so close on the Friday night, it was always a very difficult one then to raise. We lost 2-0, and to raise then the levels again for the Tuesday night game, a huge game, a semi-final. We played them in an Irish Cup semi-final, and we knew how tough that was going to be. Larne are an exceptional team, an exceptional club, riding that crest of the wave, doing so well, representing the league in Europe, and those players doing so well for themselves as well. So we knew it was going to be a tough ask. We knew we'd have to go to the wire. We knew the one thing about Larne is they test your character and resilience. They asked lots of questions, and we had to have the answers. And although they went down to 10 men and defended so valiantly, credit to the players, they kept going and kept going. And young Destiny Ojo goes and scores the winning goal, and obviously mayhem then ensues.
And the scenes in the away end, you could just see how much it meant to the supporters and meant to everybody on that night.
It really does, and again it encapsulates what it means to be a Cliftonville supporter and a Cliftonville player, and the enormity of that occasion. You know, to reach another final is huge, and it's a credit to the players. And as we know, Cliftonville supporters enjoy a final, and they'll be out in their thousands trying to roar us on to victory.
And the Bet McLean Cup itself, has it been something at the start of the season you've sort of looked at and targeted? Cliftonville has a great history in the competition, but has it always been something you've sort of looked at as something you'd like to get to the final of and potentially win?
Yes, and I was rebuked by the board last year for not going very deep into the League Cup or the County Antrim Shield. So, you know, we have managed to get to a final, and we've done it again against tough opposition all the way. We now face a real tough game in the final, and we've got to use all our experience in that. And yes, there is a proud history of the League Cup at this football club. So we've got to go out there and present ourselves and try and win. So
Glentoran, played them a few times this year.
Yeah.
What test is Glentoran going to pose this Cliftonville team?
Well, we played them early on, and we didn't play great. And Mr. Jenkins scored a wonder goal, an absolutely fabulous goal. It's like a once in a million strike, and he's been super this year. So we had to dust ourselves down after that. The game at home, we were excellent for 45 minutes, and then you know, that goal, and we've seen it so many times, but when you see it against you, it isn't very pleasant. David will not want to watch it an awful lot, but it was one of those freakish goals that happens. But in terms of our performance levels, in terms of chances created, we'd done so well in the game. Unfortunately, we couldn't hang on, and we lost the game. So we get a chance now to do something about that, and there's no better time to do that than a final.
And Declan Devine, somebody you've worked with in the past, how do you think he's got on, and what's it going to be like to face him in a big occasion at the Bet McLean Cup final? Well,
first and foremost, Declan's a friend. Not only through our association in football, but also off the pitch as well. I regard Declan as a good friend. So he's someone that I've always admired and respected. I get the opportunity to work with him with the IFA. He's a very passionate football man. He's so enthusiastic. He's a motivator, and he has great charisma. And that's what he's brought his team. And they're hard to beat. And again, those are wonderful attributes to have for any football team. They've got great momentum. We have to try and halt that momentum. And again, it's going to be a really difficult and tough assignment. But we will be ready. There's no question, we will be ready. We'll be well prepared. And we acknowledge that they have great strengths in their team. Lots of players playing very well. But we will be ready.
So Cliftonville in the Bet McLean Cup, so they've won 5 of their last 5 finals. The history that this club has in this competition, and the history of moments like that Tommy Breslin sort of brought to the club, just even sitting in the boardroom now. Does history play a part in what you do at this club and what the players sort of strive to achieve in the future? Is it part of what goes on here?
Yes, it does. Of course it does, yeah. Every football club has its own history. But for this current group of players, it's about writing their own history, adding to that. not being intimidated by the past, actually using it as inspiration and motivational fuel. It's as simple as that. I don't think I was ever intimidated by the talk around Irish Cups. I just used it again as something that I felt that with the capabilities within the team that they had a great opportunity to win it, and they went on and won it. So knowing that they've won 5 out of 5 brings added pressure, so thank you for that. But knowing that on any given day we're a very, very capable team and we're very capable of winning this.
And even that photo as well, Jared Little's there in the midst of it. How important is it to have him, and even the likes of Ricky in the team as well? How important is it that your management group's quite close-knit and you sort of stick together?
Well, it's very important. Jared played a major part in that group of players, wonderful group of players, wonderful captain in George, a wonderful manager in Tommy. I had the pleasure of meeting Tommy a few times before his passing. He is a revered legend at this football club, and quite rightly so. So my staff mean the world to me, given their depth of knowledge, given their experience, given their calmness and composure, which is again is very important in crucial moments. So we'll be leaning very heavily on that.
So the supporters,
yeah,
they've sold out the
yes.
allocation for this final. Absolutely amazing response yet again.
Yeah.
How important is it when the Red Army's in full flow and full voice?
Well, massive. You've seen it and heard it at the cup final in May. And this club, again, people must love it when they draw this club because they know that these fans are coming out in their thousands. They absolutely adore this football club. And anybody who wears a red shirt and who plays with that same passion that they have, they'll always look after them and they'll always come with them. So we have to give them something to cheer. We've got to keep them with us, and if we do, they're going to be with us right to the death.
And it seems quite a ritual and quite special at Solitude when there's a win, the players will go over to the understand. Is that really just an appreciation of what the fans bring here, and it's just sort of giving something back to them when you do win and do have these special moments? Well,
it's an appreciation, yeah, because economically it's not easy for anybody out there. So it's an appreciation of them turning up. It's an appreciation that on March 9th there's going to be 7,500, 8,000 people there, and that is incredible. 8,000 Reds fans coming out to support their team in what will be hopefully a great occasion, and Glentoran have reciprocated that, and there's going to be 16,000 at a cup final with everything to play for. So let's hope it's a wonderful occasion, but the Reds fans deserve so much credit, and it's an appreciation from our players for what they give us.
So this photo, just without really saying it,
yeah,
just looking at that and reflecting on it,
yeah,
what does that bring to you when you see that image?
Great sadness. It brings great sadness because he's no longer with us. I'm never going to get that opportunity again. I loved him as a lad. I loved him as a player. He probably got more criticism from me than any other manager because I've known him since he was 15, 16, when he first entered into the Irish FA circle and radar. So I've watched his career with great interest. When we had the opportunity to bring him to Cliftonville, I had no hesitation. He had been doing so well, and to lose a colleague, a friend, a teammate, he is so sadly missed. He's so sadly missed on days like tonight, where we suffered a poor loss on the Saturday. He comes in with the same vigour, the same enthusiasm, the same desire to go out and train and make a difference. And that's what he did. He made a massive difference in a short spell at Cliftonville.
Finally then,
yeah,
what would it be like to get your hands on that on March the 9th?
Well, it would mean everything because it's the next cup final, and to have the opportunity to play in one and do what we've done to get there is huge. But now that you're in a final, finals are about winning, and to win it would be huge. It would be huge for this group of players. It would be huge for our supporters. It would be another trophy, and it would be hopefully a momentous occasion. But to win would mean everything to us all.